לאדוני כל הארץ, שירו לאדוני ברכו שמו, מסרו מיום ליום ישועתו. שירו לאדוני, שיר חדש, שירו לאדוני, כל הארץ, שירו לאדוני, ברכו שמו, בסרו מיום ליום ישועתו. שירו לאדוני שיר חדש, שירו לאדוני כל הארץ, שירו לאדוני ברכו שמו, בסרו מיום ליום ישועתו. ספרו בגויים כבודו, לכל העמים לכדי אוצר, כי גדול אדוני ומהולל מאוד, נורא
Yai di 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 lie, and I die die, I di di die lie, yai die di di lie, and I di di die, yai di di die, yai die di di die, yai die di di lie, and I die, lie and die, yai die and die, yai die di di and die, yai die and die, yai die and die, yai die and die, yai lie di di and die, yai lie di di and die, yai lie and die di di lie, yai die di di and lie, yai lie di di and die, yai lie di di die, yai lie di di and die, yai die di di and lie, and died and died, yai lied and died, yai lied and died, yai died di di and lie, yai died and died, yai died and died, yai died and died, yai died di di die.
Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat Shalom.
Can you hear me? No. I do not know why. Can you hear me now? No. Is there any? I'll unmute until Zach figures out how to get the headset, which is still unmuted, Zach. Okay. Shabbat Shalom, everyone.
Shabbat Shalom.
So I'm going to ask all of you to put your books in the pews in front of you. I'm going to ask you to put your phones away. If you have bags, put them on the floor. I want you to have your hands empty. If you're joining us on live stream, I'm going to ask you to do the same thing. I'm going to ask you to put your hands in your lap, and I'm going to ask you to close your eyes. I want you to take a deep breath. And as you do your second breath in, I want you to bring in the beauty of Shabbat, whatever that may look like to you. The fact that we are together as a community, online, in person. And when you exhale, let out all the stress and anxiety, the frustration, the anger, the doubt. Let that all go. And bring in one more cleansing breath to bring in Shabbat, to bring in love and happiness and peace. We enter this sanctuary to welcome Shabbat. Within these walls, we sit surrounded by numberless generations. Our ancestors built the synagogue as a visible sign of God's presence in their midst. Throughout our long history and our endless wanderings, it has endured, a beacon of truth, love, and justice for all humanity. Its presence guided our ancestors to lives of righteousness, holding up to them a vision of their truest selves. Now we, in turn, come into this community for Shabbat to affirm the sacredness of our lives. May we enter this place in peace. May holiness wrap around us as we cross its threshold. Weariness, doubt, the flaws within our human hearts, the harshness of the weak, let these drop away at the door. In the brightness of Shabbat, let peace settle upon us as we lift our hearts in prayer, beginning with lighting our Shabbat candles on page 3, as I invite forward Samantha Fisher. And you may open your eyes now to see the candles.
They have them in the sand there.
eternal law of goodness. Help us to find knowledge by which to live. Lead us to take the words which we speak into our hearts and our lives. Bless all who enter this sanctuary in need, and all who heed the offerings of their hearts. May our worship lead us to acts of kindness, peace, and love.
Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, asher kideshanu bemitzvotav, vetzivanu lehadlik ner shel Shabbat.
Blessed are you, Adonai our God, sovereign of the universe, who hallows us with its vote, commanding us to kindle the light of Shabbat.
Amen.
Amen.
We continue on page 5 for Kiddush as we join together with Michael.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, borei peri hagafen. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, asher kidshanu bemitzvotav, veratzavanu. V'shabbat kodsho be'ahava uvratzon inchilanu, zikaron lema'asei bereshit, ki hu yom techila lemikra hekodesh, zecher letziat Mitzrayim, ki vanu v'acharta, ve'otanu kidashta mikol hamim, ve'shabbat kodshecha be'ahava uvratzon inchaltanu. Baruch atah Adonai mekadesh haShabbat.
L'chaim. On page 13, we join together singing Psalm 96, singing songs to God as we prepare to bring in Shabbat.
Shiru l'Adonai kol haaretz, Shiru l'Adonai shir chadash, Shiru l'Adonai kol haaretz, Shiru l'Adonai shir chadash. Sing unto God, all the earth, a new song. I will sing unto God a new song. Sing unto God, and we'll all sing along. All the earth, a new song unto God. Shiru l'Adonai kol haaretz, Shiru l'Adonai shir chadash. I will sing unto God a new song.
We turn now to page 22 as we join together in Psalm 92. And I want to say that when we have the honor of having Michael lead with us, he shares with us some of his own compositions. We've done this one a few times now, so if you know it, join with. If not, find the chorus, figure out where you can jump in and join with us.
Mizmor shir leyom haShabbat, Tov lehodot l'Adonai, uzamer לשמך עליון, טוב להודות לאדוני וזמר, לשמך עליון, להגיד בבוקר, חסדך ואמונתך בלילות, בלילות, להגיד בבוקר, חסדך ואמונתך בלילות, בלילות, טוב להודות לאדוני וזמר, לשמך עליון, טוב להודות לאדוני וזמר, לשמך עליון.
We turn back to page 20 as we join together in Lecha Dodi, welcoming that Sabbath spirit towards us as we sing verses 1, 2, 5, and 9. And when we reach that 9th verse, Bo'vi v'shalom, we rise and face the entrance to our sanctuary, beckoning that Sabbath spirit towards us, getting us ready for the rest of this Shabbat to follow in the 24 hours coming up together.
לך דודי לקראת קלה, פני שבת נקבלה. לך דודי לקראת קלה, פני שבת נקבלה. שמור וזכור בדיבור אחד, השמיענו המיוחד, אדוני אחד ושמו אחד, לשם ולתפארת ולתהילה. לך דודי לקראת קלה, פני שבת נקבלה. לך דודי לקראת קלה, פני שבת נקבלה. לקראת שבת לכו ונלכה, כי מקור הברכה מראש מקדם, נשוך סוף מעשה במחשבת תחילה. לך דודי לקראת קלה, פני שבת נקבלה. לך דודי לקראת קלה, פני שבת נקבלה. התעוררי, התעוררי, כי באורך קומי אורי, 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 שידברי כבוד אדוני, עלייך נגלה. לך דודי לקראת קלה, פני שבת נקבלה. לך דודי לקראת קלה, פני שבת נקבלה. בואי ושלום, עטרת פלג גם בשמחה, וצהלה תוך אמוני עם סגולה. בואי חלה, בואי חלה. לך דודי לקראת קלה, פני שבת נקבלה. לך דודי לקראת קלה, פני שבת נקבלה.
Turn to those around you, wish them a Shabbat Shalom. Let them know you are glad they are here.
Glad you're here.
We continue now with Chatzi Kaddish on page 26 as we remain standing through Shema.
יתגדל ויתקדש שמי רבה. בעלמא דברך חירותי ואמליך מלכותי, בחייכון וביומכון ובחיי כל בית ישראל. בגלה, בגלה, ובזמן קריב, ואמרו אמן. יהי שמי רבה מברך, לעלם ולעלמי עלמיה יתברך, יתברך וישתבח, ויתפאר ויתרומם ויתנשא, ויתהדר ויתעלה ויתהלל שמי דקודשה בריחו לעילה מן כל ברכתה ושירתה, תושבחתה ונחמתה, דמירן בעלמא, ואמרו אמן. Barechu et Adonai Hamevorach, Baruch Adonai Hamvorach, Leolam Vaed. Yai-dai, dai-dai, dai-dai, yai-dai, dai-dai, dai, yai-dai, dai-dai, dai-dai,
On page 30, we join together in the words of Ma'ariv Aravim. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, asher bidvaro Ma'ariv Aravim, b'chochma potech she'arim, uvitvuna mishaneh itim, umachalif et hazmanim, umsader et hakochavim, b'mishmerotehem barakira kirtsono, borei yom v'layla, golel or mipnei choshech, v'choshech mipnei or, uma'avir yom umevi layla, umavdil ben yom uvein layla, Adonai tzvaot shemo, El chai v'kayam, tamid imloch aleinu leolam va'ed, Baruch atah Adonai, hama'ariv aravim. Page 33 at the top, we join together. As you taught Torah to those whose names I bear, teach me Torah too. Its mystery beckons, yet I struggle with its truth. You meant Torah for me. Did you mean the struggle for me too? Don't let me struggle alone. Help me to understand, to be wise, to listen, to know. Lead me into the mystery. Baruch atah Adonai, Ohev Amo Yisrael.
Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad. Baruch Shem Kevod Malchuto Leolam.
You may be seated. We continue with chanting the Ve'ahavta on page 36.
ואהבת את אדוני אלוהיך בכל לבבך ובכל נפשך ובכל מאודיך, והיו הדברים האלה אשר אנוכי מצווך היום על לבביך, ושיננתם לבניך, ודיברת בם, בשבתך בביתך, ובלכתך בדרך, ושוכבך ובקומך, וקשרתם לאות על ידיך, והיו לטוטפות בין עיניך, וכתבתם על מזוזות ביתך ובשעריך, למען תזכרו ועשיתם את כל מצוותי, והייתם קדושים לאלוהיכם. אני אדוני אלוהיכם, אשר הוצאתי אתכם מארץ מצרים, להיות לכם לאלוהים. אני אדוני אלוהיכם.
On page 39 at the bottom, we read responsively. In a world torn by violence and pain, a world far from wholeness and peace, give us the courage to say, Adonai, there is one God in heaven and earth.
The high heavens declare your glory. May earth reveal your justice and love.
From bondage in Egypt we were delivered. At Sinai we bound ourselves to your way.
Inspired by prophets and instructed by sages, time and again we overcame oppressive forces.
Though our failings are many and our faults are great, it has been our glory to bear witness to our God, keeping alive in dark ages your vision of a world redeemed.
Let us continue to work for the day when the nations will be one and at peace. Then shall we rejoice as Israel did, singing on the shores of the sea. Mi kamocha ba'elim Adonai, mi kamocha nehedar b'kodesh, norati lo sefel, norati lo sefel, ma'alechutecha ra'uvanecha bokei hayam lifnei Moshe ומרים, זה אלי יענו ואמרו, אדוני ימלוך לעולם ועד. ילאי, דידידי, דידידי, ינאי, די, ילאי, דידידי, דידידי, די, 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 דידידי, די, די. Yai dai da da dai dai di di dai 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 dai. Dai dai di di dai 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 dai.
Never too much of the Yevabims. Page 43 at the top, we join together. Let there be love and understanding among us. Let peace and friendship be our shelter from life's storms. Adonai, help us to walk with good companions, to live with hope in our hearts and eternity in our thoughts, that we may lie down in peace and rise up waiting to do your will. Baruch atah Adonai, haporei sukat shalom aleinu, vel kol amo Yisrael, ve'al Yerushalayim.
ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת, לעשות את השבת לדורותם ברית עולם. ביני ובין בני ישראל עוד לעולם, כי ששת ימים עשה אדוני את השמיים ואת הארץ, וביום השביעי שבת nafesh uvayom hashvi Shabbat vayi nafesh.
We rise together for the Amidah, which begins on page 46.
Adonai sefatai tiftach ufi yagid tehilatecha. Adonai, open up my lips that my mouth may declare your praise. Hididai, hidai, dai, hididai, hidai, dai. Hididai, dai, dai, hididai, dai, dai. Hididai, hidai, dai, hididai, hidai, dai. Hididai, dai, dai, hidido. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu v'Elohei Avoteinu v'Imoteinu Elohei Avraham, Elohei Yitzchak, v'Elohei Yaakov, Elohei Sarah, Elohei Rivka, Elohei Rachel, v'Elohei Leah, Ha'el Hagadol, Hagibor v'Hanora, El Elyon, גומל חסדים טובים וקונה הכל, וזוכר חסדי אבות ואימהות, ומביא גאולה לפני בניהם למען שמו באהבה. מלך עוזר ומושיע ומגן, ברוך אתה אדוני מגן אברהם ועזרת שרה. אתה גיבור לעולם אדוני, מחיה הכל אתה רב להושיע, מוריד הטל, מכלכל חיים בחסד, מחיי הכל ברחמים רבים, סומך נופלים ורופא חולים, ומתיר אסורים, ומקיים אמונתו לשני עפר. מי כמוך בעל גבורות, ומי דומה לך, מלך ממית ומחיה, ומצמיח ישועה, ונאמן אתה להחיות הכל. ברוך אתה אדוני מחיה הכל. אתה קדוש ושמך קדוש, וקדושים בכל יום יהללוך סלה. ברוך אתה אדוני האל הקדוש.
You may be seated. We continue together, recognizing the holiness of this day of Shabbat on the top of page 55. May these hours of rest and renewal open our hearts to joy and our minds to truth. May all who struggle find rest on this day. May all who suffer find solace. May all who hurt find healing on this day. May all who despair find purpose. May all who hunger find fulfillment on this day, and may this day fulfill its promise. Baruch atah Adonai mekadesh haShabbat. On page 57, I want you to keep your finger there, that chatima, that closing blessing we will come and say together as I share a prayer for you elsewhere, with you from elsewhere in the prayer book. We reach for you, our God, from our quiet places. May we stand still for a brief moment and listen to the rain. Stand still for a brief moment and watch the play of sunlight and shadow on the leaves. For a brief moment, listen to the world. Let us stop the wheels of every day to be aware of Shabbat. Find the stillness of the sanctuary with the soul cherished. Renew the covenant of an ancient people. We need a quiet space to test the balance of our days, the weight of our own deeds against the heaviness of the world's demands. The balance is precarious. Steady us with faith. Quiet places and stillness where we will hear our own best impulses speak. Quiet places and stillness from which we will reach out to each other. We will find strength in silence, and with this strength, we will turn again to your service together. Baruch atah Adonai, she'otcha levadcha be'ira na'avod. God of goodness, we give thanks for the gift of life, wonder beyond words, for the awareness of soul, our light within, for the world around us so filled with beauty, for the richness of the earth which day by day sustains us. For all these and more, we offer thanks. Baruch atah Adonai, hatov shimcha lecha na'eh lehodot. On page 61, we join together in our prayer for peace. Grant us peace, your most precious gift, O eternal source of peace, and give us the will to proclaim its message to all the peoples of the earth. Bless our country as a safeguard of peace, its advocate among the nations. May contentment reign within our borders, health and happiness within our homes. Strengthen the bonds of friendship and fellowship among all the inhabitants of every land. Plant virtue in every soul, and may the love of your name hallow every home and every heart. Praised are you, eternal one, who blesses our people with peace. Baruch atah Adonai, hamivarech et amo Yisrael, b'shalom. Having prayed for peace in the world, we think of those who face the future not fully whole, those who are in need of healing of mind, of body, and of spirit. We think of them and whisper their names aloud as we look together on our order of service, whether you're online, it's on your screen, or you picked it up when you came in. And we add to those names those which are in our hearts. The words to Misha Berach can be found on page 253.
Shebeirach avotenu mikor habracha leimotenu. May the source of strength, who bless the ones before us, help us find the courage to make our lives a blessing, and let us say, Amen. Mishebeirach imotenu mikor habracha lavotenu. Bless those in need of healing with refuah shlema, the renewal of body, the renewal of spirit, and let us say, Amen.
We take a moment now for our own silent prayers.
Ufros aleinu סוכת שלומך והושיענו. ופרוס עלינו סוכת שלומך והושיענו. ושמור צאתנו ובואנו לחיים ושלום מעתה ועד עולם. די 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 yo. Hi di 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 di, hi di di di, hi di 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 yo. Ufros aleinu sukat shlomecha ve'oshienu. Ufros aleinu סוכת שלומך והושיענו.
מה טובו אוהליך יעקב, אוהליך יעקב, משכנותיך ישראל. How fair are your tents, O Jacob, your dwellings, O Israel. These words are found in our Torah portion this week, Balak. In this portion, we have King Balak, who tries to get to Balaam, his hired prophet, to curse the Israelites. Balaam is unable to do so and utters 4 blessings instead, each one getting stronger and stronger, using the words God has given him. In a commentary by one of my teachers, Rabbi Sue Levy-Elwell, she explains that this Torah portion begins with the words, Balak saw. But neither King Balak nor his hireling Balaam are able to see the Israelites. Balaam and Balak position and reposition themselves in an attempt to assess the multitude. The two travel from point to point without gaining the perspective that they seek. The perspective that King Balak and Balaam were seeking was one where the Israelites could be seen as disgusting, as terrible, as heathens, as destructors. Balaam was looking for confirmation of King Balak's perspective in looking over the Israelites camped in the wilderness. He couldn't find it and was counseled by God to not follow through with the curses, but give blessings to the Israelites instead. King Balak wanted the Israelites to be cursed because he was steeped in fear. He only knew about the Israelites from their previous success in battles, their large numbers, and his own complete ignorance. King Balak wanted Balaam to curse the people so that Balak's people, under his leadership, would have a chance to defeat them, not knowing who they were, what they stood for, or what happened in the other battles. King Balak hid behind his fear and behind Balaam. This is what perpetrators of anti-Semitism do. They act out of fear and ignorance, and in many scenarios, act behind a screen, spewing their hatred through the internet. And what happened this weekend? We were blessed. We were not cursed, as was the hope of this person. We were lifted and lauded. We became united and stronger. We were supported and comforted. We were tried and we learned. Whether or not each of us believes that God intervened with us, like God did with Balaam, putting words in his mouth that would bless us rather than curse us, I know that there were many factors that allowed us all to be safe. Ma tovu Ohalecha Yaakov, Ohalecha Yaakov, Mishkenotecha Yisrael. How fair are your tents, O Jacob, your dwellings, O Israel. Last week was a disappointing, frustrating, and scary moment for the San Antonio Jewish community. It was distressing, to say the least, to evacuate myself, my young children, and their babysitter from the building in a way that was calm, quick, and not alarming to them. It was overwhelming to be bombarded by media when we did not want any more attention than had already been given to the situation. It was difficult to ensure communication was going out promptly and with the correct information and nuances. It was intimidating to be the clergy on call during this event. At the same time, it was empowering to know that our Temple Beth-El staff and board and law enforcement came together to execute safety protocols and disseminate communication. It was comforting to have people reach out, like the Interfaith San Antonio Alliance, who sent a letter to the Jewish community which stated, in part, "The Interfaith San Antonio Alliance stands with you as your extended family in faith. We pray the strength of our unity as Jewish, Christian, Sikh, Muslim, Buddhist, Baha'i, Hindu, Mandaean, and non-affiliated leaders will empower you during this challenging time." It was powerful to get a call from our neighbors, Christ Episcopal Church, that if we needed anything, they would be happy to let us use their building, with a specific twist of an added explanation that they have a large space without religious iconography, which would be fitting for us to use. It was inspiring to be contacted by local elected officials, leaders in the Reform movement, other religious institutions, friends and family all over the world as they denounced anti-Semitic behavior and rhetoric and offered their support. It was soothing to hear from our senior rabbi while she was on sabbatical to remind us of hope. It was moving that 17 people stayed on Zoom for Torah study to continue their learning in community with high spirits. It was reassuring to have incredible interactions with our local law enforcement who surrounded our building swiftly and expertly, protecting not just a building, knowing it had been evacuated, but protecting our spiritual home and truly our community itself. Did we do it all perfectly? No. But it gave us so many lessons to grow from so that we can have Temple be in the best headspace possible for many different security and safety scenarios. There were so many more blessings than curses this weekend. Ma tovu ohalecha Yaakov, ohalecha Yaakov, mishkenotecha Yisrael. How fair are your tents, O Jacob, your dwellings, O Israel. To you, our Temple Beth-El family, this is the blessing that I want to say to you on this Shabbat, where I can see you or know your presence is with us as you join us online. This blessing reminds us that through whatever curse may be attempted to be thrown at us, we are here. No matter what other people may say about us, we are proud of who we are and are ready to be teachers, dispelling ignorance. No matter what has befallen us in the past, we will not sit down and call ourselves victims, but rise above, learning and growing, following the path of our ancestors through thousands of years of devastation to our Jewish people. Our blessings of being together as Temple Beth-El for almost 150 years is not going to disappear in an instant. It will only grow stronger for the next thousands of years. May we be blessed by the outpouring of love in our community, the safety we encountered this weekend, and the presence of one another during this Shabbat together. Shabbat Shalom. We continue with our concluding prayers. Aleinu can be found on page 283, and I invite you to rise.
עלינו לשבח לאדון הכל, לתת גדולה ליוצר בראשית, שהוא שם חלקנו לאחד את שמו, וגורלנו להמליך מלכותו. ואנחנו קוראים ומשתחווים ומודים לפני מלך מלכי המלכים הקדוש ברוך הוא. ונאמר והיה אדוני למלך על כל הארץ ביום ההוא יהיה אדוני אחד, ושמו אחד.
You may be seated. Our memorial meditation can be found on page 291. It is hard to sing of oneness when the world is not complete, when those who once brought wholeness to our life have gone, and naught but memory can fill the emptiness their passing leaves behind. But memory can tell us only what we were, in company with those we loved. It cannot help us find what each of us, alone, must now become. Yet no one is really alone. Those who live no more echo still within our thoughts and words, and what they did is part of what we have become. We do best homage to our dead when we live our lives more fully, even in the shadow of our loss. For each of our lives is worth the life of the whole world, and each one is the breath of the ultimate one. In affirming the one, we affirm the worth of each one whose life, now ended, brought us closer to the source of life, in whose unity no one is alone, and every life finds purpose. Our thoughts turn now to those in our community and extended community who have died at this time in years past. As we mark their yard sites, we remember them. Louise Baumholtz, Jenny Mae Bescher, Sam Bloom, Alexander A. Brown, Julian Buckbinder, Lillian Kaplan, Frida Carduner, Arthur A. Cohen, Maurice Dalkowitz, Dr. Milton J. Eisenberg, Mark Elevitz, Hans Fischer, Morty Friedman, Ida C. Friedson, Mary Deutzer Gates, Regina Hurst Glass, Irene Goldenberg, Anna Gornick, Morris Greenblum, Rosalind Hirschberg, Lois Brahm Jacobs, Babe Korotkin, Sarah Katz, Marjorie Kollefson, Ralph Komorowski, Marjorie Landy, Arthur Lefton, Jocelyn Bronson Levi, Alan Charles Marcher, Frida Sobel Miles, Joe Mosser, Leo Nevelow, Rose Nevelow, Lois Oppenheimer, Stephen Palins, Lou Paltrowitz, Charles R. Pearl, Nina Phillips, Eugene Prashner, Luann Price, Lester Rappaport, Tamara Senshin, Irene Chapu, George A. Siegel, Esther Silber, Jeanette Simon, Vera A. E. Sines, Simon Smith, Isidore Stern, Alvin Werbner, Janet Wheeler, Stanley Zach, and Marilyn Lynn Carol Zimmerman. To these names, we add those who've been buried in the past 30 days, whose family and friends are in a mourning period of Shloshim. We remember Clay Burgle-Rips, Arlene Sukloff, Sarah Hart, and Helene Ingram. To all of these names, we add those which are in our hearts each and every day as we turn to page 294, Rising as One Community for Kaddish Yatom. Yitzgadal v'yitzkadash shmei Rabbah, be'alma divrach hirutei v'yamlich malchutei, b'chayachon u'v'yomechon u'v'chayei l'chol Beit Yisrael, ba'agala u'bizman kariv, imru, amen. Yehi shmei rabba mevarach le'olam ulmei almaya, yitbarach v'yishtabach v'yitpa'ar v'yitromam v'yitnaseh, v'yitadar v'yitaleh v'yitalal shemei dekudesha brichu, le'ela min kol berchata v'shirata, tushbechata v'nechamata, da'amiran be'alma v'imru, amen. Yehi shlama rabba min shemaya, v'chayim aleinu v'al kol Yisrael v'imru, amen. Oseh shalom bimromav, u'ya'aseh shalom, aleinu v'al kol Yisrael v'imru, amen. May the one who creates harmony on high bring peace to us and to all Israel, to which we say, amen. You may be seated. I was going to jump to closing songs, but I'll let you come up and do, I know you. I'd like to invite Debbie Roos, President of our Board of Trustees, to deliver tonight's announcements.
To skip speaking in public would never be a problem for me, but thank you. I would like to welcome everybody. I'm very glad you could join us in our sanctuary or at home in your sacred space. I am having a bit of deja vu regarding my comments tonight. Rabbi Nathan is still on sabbatical. COVID, and now apparently monkeypox, are vexing our community, and security is something I must talk about. I want to make 3 brief comments regarding our experience last weekend. First, I am extraordinarily proud of the Temple Beth-El team, clergy, staff, lay leaders, and volunteers. Despite illness, previous plans, or being out of town, this team showed up until the very end, without questions, without complaint, without criticism. Secondly, I am grateful, as Rabbi Jurgen spoke about, for the many people who reached out to us as a community, a congregation and individuals to express support, concern, indignation, and unity. There is goodness in humanity, and it is so nice to be explicitly reminded of that. Third, while we did well, we learned a lot to improve our response should there ever be a next time. We have already conducted an after-action effort documenting the wins so we ensure we repeat those actions and identifying the gaps so that we can shore them up in the near future. Finally, a thank you to you, our congregation. You remained calm, you asked reasonable questions, you compassionately checked on our leaders, and you returned to Temple Beth-El, our spiritual home. It wouldn't be the 2020s if I didn't talk about COVID. COVID numbers remain high, and in order to go about our normal business at Temple, masks are once again required in the building, social distancing remains in place, babysitting remains closed, and indoor food service, including our pre-Shabbat oneg, is discontinued for the time being. Please get your vaccinations and boosters and check with your medical provider about post-infection medications like Paxlovid. These tools help make our congregation and our city safer for us all. We will continue monitoring the situation and adjust as things allow us for our collective well-being. All of our worship services and some of our programming events are live streamed. If you're unable to be at Temple in person, please join us online. Going to Temple means wherever our congregation is, not necessarily being at 211 Belknap. Programming, try that word again. Programmatically, I'd like to remind you that the 2022-23 religious school registration is underway for students in preschool age 3 through post-confirmation grade 12. Check out the order of service or the weekly email for how to register and see what new things are happening. If you have any questions, please contact Ellen Barshop, Director of Congregational Learning, or Sarah Planto, Religious School Administrator. Everything going on at Temple Beth-El is listed on our website calendar and in our weekly email, which should arrive to your inbox around 4 p.m. every Thursday. Shabbat Shalom.
Our closing song, the Shabbat, is one of Peace, Ojavo Shalom Aleinu, page 353, and I invite you to please rise.
Ojevo shalom aleinu, עוד יבוא שלום עלינו, עוד יבוא שלום עלינו ועל כולם. עוד יבוא שלום עלינו, עוד יבוא שלום עלינו, עוד יבוא שלום עלינו ועל כולם. סלם עלינו ועל כל העולם, סלם, שלום, סלם עלינו ועל כל העולם, סלם, שלום. עוד יבוא שלום עלינו, עוד יבוא שלום עלינו, עוד יבוא שלום עלינו ועל כולם. עוד יבוא שלום עלינו, עוד יבוא שלום עלינו, עוד יבוא שלום עלינו ועל כולם.
Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat Shalom.